What is going on, Rotogrinders? Dean here. That's Dean 7904. That is a daily fantasy handle around the industry. It is 5:30 on the East Coast for the last time this season for baseball. Well, at least for as far as the shows. 2:30 West Coast, 4:30 Tennessee time. It's Grant. You want to give Mountain Time for the people? They want to know this.
3:31.
Yeah, somewhere along the line we caught up a minute or so. Yeah, so it's the flagship show here at Rotogrinders. It's called Grinderslive. Joining me today, we're running it back. We crushed it so hard yesterday. Running it back. It's the sequel. It's the swan song, our last episode of the season, regular season. Of course, we have playoff content. We're gonna have a weekend content as well too up on the site, rotogrinders.com. Go ahead and check it out. Get yourself RG Premium, $10 off the first month. You can get just baseball. That seems weird if that's what you want to do, but you can do that, sure. Or you can get any one sport, or you can get all the sports, every sport you want, with the exception of NASCAR. $10 off your first month. Have at it. We'll have Devin go ahead and drop the link in the chat. What up, chat? Whoever is still around watching these shows this time of year, game 160. Thanks for watching. We appreciate y'all watching all season long. Hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, all that good stuff. Ask the questions. You guys know how that goes. Grant, we were arguing what were we arguing about pre-show? Oh, Squid Game. You wanted me to ruin Squid Game for Devin. That Devin's never seen it before. I wasn't going to talk spoilers. You're all about talking spoilers. I'm not about that life.
Oh, someone's asking about my tilt over the Mariners as Stevie did over the Red Sox. I ain't tilting.
You know what? You know, did you have a Mariners ticket as far as making the playoffs? Because they're like a 40% chance now at this point.
I get like $5,000 if they win the World Series. I'm going balls to the wall.
That's not happening.
Thank you for saying that. I really appreciate it. That's fantastic.
That's not happening. There's no chance that happens. I'm sorry. Like,
I give it a 1 in 10. If they
some dummy told me that the Mariners have like a 1 in 10 chance to make the playoffs. And yeah, they got their face, right?
Yeah. Yeah. What were they tied for the wild card?
I don't know if they're tied. We're looking at the.
They are tied.
Yeah, you're a fake Mariners fan. You didn't even know this?
No, I did. I have the standings right in front of me. They're both 89 and 70, the Red Sox and the Mariners.
Yeah, the Yankees basically, it's not officially locked in, but they're more or less locked in 97% as far as winning that first wild card spot. And then Boston and the Mariners are kind of battling back and forth. And, you know, Robbie Ray, he gave up with 4 or 5 homers, like 4 or 5 hits. I think every hit he gave up was a home run yesterday. And the Yankees, I want to say the Yankees, every hit they had yesterday was a homer too. I believe that's the case. Turn off your phone, Grant. Are you paying attention?
It's on vibrate so that I can see alerts. I have to be notified. What's dummy. The alert? Anything
important?
Cody Abbott will start tonight.
Yeah, I think he's an opener. I'm guessing he's an opener, as far as I can tell. He's only pitched like 15 innings all season. I saw it right before the show started as well too. He pitches for the Cubs, which I didn't know that. I was not aware of that person until about 12 minutes ago.
Classic you, not knowing what's going on.
Well, I'm sorry. You want to give me the Wikipedia history on Cody Abbott off the dome?
Cody Abbott, you were talking about his Wikipedia history. Well, that is very, very simple. Let me tell you here.
But let me speak really slowly and try to buy some time as I pull up my machine to type in Cody Abbott, Wikipedia. Continue.
I mean, I'm looking. He was probably born like, I don't know, September 20th, 1995.
Well, I don't know how important that is. Okay.
Well, it's in 2021. He has a 5-6 record, 5.91 ERA.
What does that mean? That tells me nothing. What somebody's
in the minors, 130 strikeouts.
Oh,
He's not great. He is an above average strikeout pitcher in the minors, averaging a little bit over 11 per 9. So he's got some K stuff in the minors, hasn't fully translated to the MLB.
thank you. We appreciate that. The deep dive on Cody Abbott. Spending way more time on Cody Abbott than necessary, as far as I can tell.
I mean, we want to talk about pitching, don't we?
Yeah, we do want to talk about pitching. I wonder if he even has an asking price. I haven't checked that just yet. Well, feel free to talk to me about pitching as far as the slate today. I'm assuming we don't have the umpire data just yet because a bunch of new series are starting. Actually, we do. We actually have a fair bit of umpire status. We'll talk about that soon enough, obviously.
So we're playing Cody Abbott, right?
No, I don't think so.
Playing Cody Abbott.
I mean, Cody Abbott has got about a good a chance of winning your GPP today than the Mariners
4K
of winning the World Series. Yeah, so this is another one of those tricky spots where we've tried to figure out the White Sox and what they're going to do with Lance Lynn. Lance Lynn, good spot here against Detroit. He did pitch over 100 pitches last time out. They're playing for nothing. You got to feel like they're going to push back on him a little bit, but he's always been a horse like this. He had that streak of 30, 40 games, whatever it was, where he threw 100 pitches in a row. That's been broken since, but that's kind of in his bag. And
yeah, he was playing for the Rangers. So
yeah, he was playing for multiple teams at the time, but yeah, I'm just saying that's something he's capable of doing, and he's kind of has one of those arms that doesn't seem to want to give up. It can take the strain of a long season and all that, but there's really no upside. He's popping currently in projections, which is concerning to me, and I'm artificially bumping him back because I just sort of feel like he's not going to go.
Him out.
Okay, talk to me about Lance Lynn and why you're Xing him out.
I mean, I don't think he's going to go that late into the game. He's a fantastic pitcher and a good matchup going up against Detroit. I still think that because of the projection systems being what they are and with how many people use them, people are probably going to end up playing him quite a bit. It's just the way that things go. I mean, I think the bat has a projection for 24 points. I don't think that's going to be the case. He did pitch 100 pitches in his last matchup, but this is for virtually nothing. They want to make sure that he's ready for the next series. I can't imagine them giving him much over 85 pitches, which he can still absolutely get there in a good matchup going up against Detroit. But we look at everything he's done over the last 8-9 games. He hasn't been the same pitcher that he was earlier on in the season. He has had some good matchup going up against Cleveland, going up against Texas, going up against Chicago, and he's failed to really hit a big outing in any of those. He did do well against Boston and against Toronto, but that's beside the point here. I don't think that he's a great play, and I would rather go with a guy like Alcantara, or I'd rather go a guy like Kershaw, where Kershaw is playing for something. Alcantara, they might as well let him go. They pretty much have let him go the entire season. I saw your nice little trivia question. I got 2 out of 4, right?
Hey, don't answer the question. We'll ask the chat. Let's see if the chat knows. Maybe the chat doesn't follow me on Twitter or they missed it or whatever. And it is pretty wild to just kind of talk about how, baseball has changed. How starting pitching has changed over the years. 2010, Grant. 2010. That wasn't that long ago. 11 years ago. 45 pitchers. 45 pitchers had 200 innings or more. 2015, 28. 2018, 13. 2021. This year, 4. And nobody else is going to get it. It's just 4. Everybody else, there's no shot. Sandy Alcantara was one of them. Let's see if the chat knows. And that was the one that people couldn't figure out. He actually said at the beginning of the year, like that was one of his goals, and the Marlins are going to let him get that. And he's been talking about that throughout the year. So I wasn't too surprised. That's the reason why I knew the answer. That's the reason why I kind of dug into it, because I was thinking, I wonder if he's at like 193 or 194, because then like for sure he's going to go 6 or 7. And it's like a great bet on the upside as far as outs. But unfortunately, he's at like 200 or 203rd or something like that. So he's already there. Wonder if the chat can get the over 3. Max Scherzer was the name that people most commonly threw out there that was wrong, for the record. And he's also facing a Philadelphia team that, while it's got Harper, they were eliminated yesterday. Harper is probably going to rest at some point, not today. No McCutchen, no Segura, no Realmuto revenge. That Philadelphia lineup is not very good. It's a great ballpark to pitch in. If you look at the splits for Alcantara, his splits, he's dramatically better at home as well. For me, he's pretty clearly the best pitcher on the slate. Now, he's not cheap. He's pricey. You got to pay for him. But there's also a bunch of hitters that are stepping in today because of, we're winding down the season. Some teams are playing for nothing. You can find a bunch of cheapies. So he's not that hard to play. I'm
looking at the Atlanta bat lineup. I don't know when that came
out.
Jock
Peterson. Yeah, but because they clinched yesterday. So it's the same deal with St. Louis. So we saw Matt Carpenter like batting cleanup the other day. Jock Peterson's going to be like very heavily owned. He's going to be a super chalk du jour. He's leading off today. But go ahead. But what are your thoughts as far as?
Yeah, is he going to be that chalky? That's unfortunate.
I think so. He's 3.7 on DK. I saw on Yahoo before the show he was $8, $1 above the floor. And FanDuel, I suspect he's probably cheap on FanDuel as well. Let's go ahead and check that right now. I'm curious. Now we're gonna get the stacks obviously soon enough, but since you brought up Atlanta, 2-3 on FanDuel leading off. Adrianza 2K. Now Albies and Riley are playing. They're probably gonna be off tomorrow or something like that. Rosario, Arcia, Heredia, Contreras, no Darno. Yeah, Atlanta's. The thing is, you can't rest a full squad. They used to do that. They'd rest a full squad, but they had 40 men on the team, and this time of year. But they cut him off at what 28, I think is all this year. So you got to play some of your regulars, no matter what. Tampa, I believe, officially clinched home field throughout, but they basically are running up their standards as is, with the exception of their catcher. But Austin Meadows is not going to play against lefties most likely, and Lau also is sitting versus the lefty too, which is not terribly surprising. You mentioned Kershaw, the Dodgers. I mean, in theory, they still have a chance to tie San Francisco, but San Francisco just keeps winning. So I think the Dodgers are what? You have the standings in front of you. They're 2 games behind, right? With 3 games left.
Let me see. Let me pull up the National League, and they are 2 games behind. What a season by the Giants.
It's been amazing. It's truly incredible. No thanks to Scott Kazmier's outing last night. I don't think he got out of the first inning, but
he got injured.
Oh, was he hurt? Is that what happened?
He sprained his ankle guarding first. I know because I may or may not have bet. I didn't. I told people to bet the Kazmier one. It was over on PointsBet. Every single time I make a bet, they let me put in $50 and then they raise the odds about 15 points. So I no longer bet there, and I just tell people bet this. You
told them bet the over or bet the under?
Told them bet the over.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it didn't go well. I mean, injuries tend to make you not hit the over. I mean, could be wrong there, but
that's kind of the thing about Kershaw, right? And okay, so we're Friday night, their playoff games. Well, I guess he's probably not number 1 in the rotation anyway, but I guess what I'm getting at is how many pitches is he going to throw? Since coming back, he's thrown 50 pitches, 74 pitches, 73 pitches. It took him out in the middle of the 5th his last time. I would imagine they'd let him go like 90, 85, 90, maybe.
Go 90, I think.
If things are going well, presumably. Yeah, and again, I don't think it's that hard to get the pitchers you want to get if this is what you're prioritizing. And yeah, I like Kershaw today. I like Alcantara more. Ranger Suarez on the other side, he isn't cheap anymore, but he's facing the Marlins. If you look at Ranger Suarez, he's faced a bunch of easy teams all season long. Like his numbers have been great, but like he hasn't really been challenged, right? Pittsburgh, Baltimore, the Cubs, Colorado at home, Miami, Arizona. Like he's been great against terrible teams. And guess what? He's facing another terrible team again, the Marlins, in a great ballpark that the pitch in. He's pricey, 8.8 on DK, but again, it's not that hard to find the funds, as far as I can tell. What do you think of Ranger Suarez?
I like him.
Dynamite drop. Is that it?
No, he's going up against the Marlins. The Marlins are one of the highest strikeout teams in the league, and we don't really know how he's going to go in the game with Philly now being eliminated. But his overall season numbers are very good. He's a great ground ball pitcher, saying above 60% on the season. His K numbers are well above average at 25%. His price tag probably isn't what it should be, and it's definitely not what it should be going up against the Marlins. The Marlins have like a 28% K rate in their lineup. They're a bad team. That really the only thing you have to worry about is a few guys that hit the ball at the ballpark. But Ranger Suarez, he's sitting at like a 0.5, 0.6 ISO on the entire season, or 0.06 ISO on the entire season. He's a little bit better versus lefties than he is versus righties, and there's probably only going to be 3 in there, but they're all kind of high K lefties that are the ones you have to worry about. Jazz, Diaz, Sierra's not really great, but I'm not really worried about him too much at all. So it's just an overall very good spot for him. I mean, he's the guy that I'm probably going to end up with a decent amount of ownership in, but there's also another Suarez on the slate.
No, we're not talking about him. On the Angels?
Yeah, why aren't we talking about him? We need to spend out for some Toronto bats. I love the Toronto bats. The Toronto bats are good. Why aren't we going with him?
Because the World Series champions, the future World Series champions, Mariners, I mean, they're hyped. That's going to be a sellout. I like the Mariners to bet the Mariners in this game against the Angels, and Suarez is no good.
He's cheap.
Yeah, but there's other cheap stuff, and I don't know how much you need the cheap stuff.
Okay, what cheap stuff is there? What good cheap stuff?
You can play John Heasley. Like, you can do that.
Really?
I don't recommend it.
The guy with a 0.6 implied team total against him more than Suarez?
You could play Eli Morgan.
I mean, I could. Do I want to? He's only going to go 85 pitches. Suarez has a longer leash.
85 pitches of Morgan is fine against Texas. And the other part is I don't know how much I don't know how much you have to do with any of this. But how about Tyler McGill, who's been terrible his last 2 times out?
Gorilla for sale.
I don't get that reference or that song. I don't know what
McGill the Gorilla. McGill Gorilla. It was
Oh, is that the guy that's on was he on trial for something?
I mean, I'm sure he was at
what's that cartoon where they
Harvey
like
Birdman, attorney at law?
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure he was on trial. I mean, Morgan's fine, but he gives up a lot of hard contact, a lot of fly balls. He's probably going to draw a decent amount of ownership. I'm playing the ownership game. I don't know.
He's in a good ballpark though to give up fly balls.
Yes, he is, and he's obviously facing a pretty bad team going up against the Rangers, who are above average strikeout team and really don't have a ton of power and just don't generally work the count too much. But I just still don't think that it's a great idea to play Morgan. What do we have for his ownership right now?
I don't know. It's going to be shuffling up because of all the base, all the.
I guess it's only 12%, but again, higher implied team total going against him than our good buddy Jose Suarez.
No, don't play Jose Suarez. You're a Mariners. Like, not that you should be playing with your head, not your heart, but like the Mariners, I think they're actually like a decent team tonight.
Gosh, guys, can we get that on? Devin, are you recording that?
With new information comes new decisions. I know it's.
Yeah.
There are currently no.
Like, something good happens. They must be good. You literally changed your stance on them over the course of a few days.
Suarez is not good.
We're not recording, and we have no one listening, so that takes going nowhere.
Here, there's the people like the organic mush play. There's your organic mush play. Play Suarez. I'm not. You have at it. What about
Suarez going for 20?
No. 20 what?
Your bet.
No.
I'm giving you 20 points. 20.
Okay, whatever. Sure. I feel like you still owe me 1 or 2 for Monday night.
I'd probably owe you 1.
Yeah. And, whatever. Sure. Yeah. Beer bet. You're gonna lose this one.
Yeah. I'll just as soon as the game's over, I'll be at a bowling alley and I'll chug some beer.
You're going bowling tonight?
I'm going bowling tonight.
The cosmic bowling with like the lights and the whole deal, or old school?
Potentially. I don't know. I mean, depending on how many beers in me, I might see cosmic bowling regardless.
What about Steven Matz versus Baltimore?
I mean, Steven Matz, like, he's all right, but Baltimore is good versus lefties. Like, Baltimore is an above average team versus left-handed pitching. They have a lot of good righty bats. I mean, Mullins is good to both sides of play because Mullins is just a beast. But look at the numbers. Hayes, 246 ISO, 364 WOBA. Mountcastle, 266 ISO, 354 WOBA. Mancini, 253 ISO, 386 WOBA. Severino, 190 ISO, 348 WOBA. I don't hate the Orioles as a stack today. Like, look at their price tags. I play him every single time versus a lefty. And while Matz may have been a little bit more splits neutral in the previous parts of his career, not as much the case anymore. His changeup is all right, and he mixes in a lot of pitches, but he's giving up almost close to league average numbers to righties. And this is a good righty hitting team.
That's something excited about. He's been good against righties. Better against lefties, but he's been fine against righties too.
He's been fine. He's still giving up above average fly balls, above average hard contact, and below average Ks. Just because you're looking at his ISO and WOBA doesn't actually mean that's the thing you should.
35% fly balls get you excited? Come on.
It doesn't get me excited. What gets me excited is the fact that they're going to come in at what? 1, 2, 3. What happened yesterday when you said don't play the Orioles?
One game. Sample size of one game.
How many times have I been on here suggesting the Orioles, and how many times have they put up well above?
I said play Mullins, and I think I got talked to Mountcastle too. He's the guy that threw a homer, so good for you if you had Mountcastle.
My highest owned player.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Where's your screenshot?
I don't know. I got 10th, I think, in GVP. I only threw out 3 lineups. I don't know. What did I end up putting up in that line? The problem is that I don't know. Let's see what I ended up doing. Where I end up in the big one. The big one.
The trivia question that I threw out there, the chat was throwing some names out there as far as the only 4 pitchers this season that have thrown for 200 innings. It's I said it was who did we give out? Alcantara. And the other answers are it's not Scherzer, Zach Wheeler, because he throws the most pitches per game and he doesn't get hurt, Walker Buehler, and 40-year-old Adam Wainwright. which is just amazing. What a season for him. So there you go. Congratulations.
Someone thinks that I bring my own bowling ball to the alley. No.
You're like the Bill Murray. You're like a rose in the middle. Are you that kind of guy?
I mean, I should be. I haven't been bowling in so long.
What? Yeah. Have you seen Kingpin?
Oh, of course I've seen Kingpin.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it might be before your time.
No, it's a fantastic movie.
It is a good movie. It's a lot of fun. I saw Kingpin at Marlins. No, the old school Joe Robbie Stadium, which is now Hard Rock Stadium. It was like a feature with the Marlins. They showed it after the game. It's like an R-rated movie. They showed that right after the game before it was even out in theaters. A lot of fun. Shout out the Fairlight Brothers and Blues Traveler with the soundtrack as well. Hey, Erod's really kind of sort of somewhat interesting because he's moving to the National League. No DH, gets to pick on a pitcher. But this Washington team, Grant, they're not good. But you know what they do?
Walk.
They hit baseballs. No, they hit baseballs. Well,
they walk.
They hit baseballs and they walk. But yet they just don't strike out. This lineup that we're facing Erod here. Some of it's small sample stuff as far as Ruiz, the rookie. He's been pretty good. Yet to strike out in 26 at-bats for lefties this season. Carter Kieboom in 81 at-bats, 16% strikeout. Stevenson, 15% strikeout. The only guy that strikes out versus lefties is Jordy Mercer. Ironically enough, once upon a time, a quote-unquote lefty masher. 15.9%. 15.9%. That is the collective strikeout percentage versus lefties this season. That's terrible.
He's got a 400 BABIP, though, so he's a lefty masher.
Well, there you go.
I mean, he's hitting line drives.
I mean, whatever. It's you can play yourself.
54% line drive rate, 50% hard contact rate. He's got a 426 CX WRC plus. Like, it's one of the highest on the team.
Yeah, I mean, this is all small sample stuff. We're talking about what
39 at bats.
That's a big enough sample for you, Cardi.
For him to be a lefty matcher.
No, you're about 1,000 at bats short for that, give or take.
I mean, closer to 10,000 according to Cardi.
Yeah, well, once you're retired, it's like, oh wait, Barry Bonds is good. We can now safely say that. So what do we do with Erod? And he's pretty cheap in some spots too.
He's fine.
He's also been one of the most unlucky pitchers in the season. If you look at,
he's going to be 33% owned.
What are you drinking?
Water.
Oh, okay.
From a Kenny Chesney souvenir cup.
I was trying to figure out what that cup was. I'm like, what is that? Did you go to a Kenny Chesney concert?
No, my buddy did. And they were going to throw away like 15 cups at the end. He's like, can I have them? And I've fallen in love with these cups.
Is there a whole bunch of stars? Is there like a Garth Brooks lurking on the house, or?
No, it's just 15 Kenny Chesney cups.
Just Kenny Chesney.
There are 2 Rockies cups.
Okay.
I don't know. I did this size of cup, the shape, the amount of liquid it can hold. It's just a good one.
There's nothing really special about that size of cup, though.
It is adequate.
It is. It gets the job done for sure, but I
don't care if it gets ruined because I've got 14 other ones. Life's good.
Oh, you have all 15? Your buddy, he gave all 15 to you?
Yes.
Oh my God! That just when the marriage goes down, I think those are going to be gone within a year. Those are going to they're going to slowly weed their way out of the house.
Nope.
They're going to be whittling down.
Nope.
Maybe down to like 2 or 3.
Nope.
All right.
Well, they're stackable.
Other pitchers that are Marco Gonzalez from your Seattle Mariners. Any interest? Yeah. It's not going to get pushed too hard, but that's sort of the thought process.
What are your thoughts on John Gray? I know he's not going to go that late into the game, but 2% ownership, some strikeouts upside, going up against a not great Arizona Diamondbacks team that may not strike out a ton, but still, John Gray's a solid overall pitcher playing away from Coors. He going to get it done here?
I don't think so. I think I've long been a John Gray guy, but I think I finally said enough. Like, that's it. That's it. We're breaking up. I've had to back up.
I think he's going to be very, very sad about you breaking up with him.
He doesn't know I exist, to be honest. I think Arizona is actually a little more interesting from a hitting perspective. Walker is a cheapie still. Rojas leading off is cheap. I always like Ketel Marte. Cole Calhoun is batting cleanup and he's super cheap. I'm not really on Gray, unfortunately. I'm not focusing.
Oh no, Kyle Farmer scratched.
That's the early game, I believe.
No. And also it's Kyle Farmer.
It's a different slate, Grant. Change everything. Kyle Farmer was scratched.
I'm just letting the people know.
Yeah, but they don't care about Kyle Farmer. Like, it's a 6:30 game.
What if they had the Will Crow over or under in strikeouts? They might care.
Did you wager on that?
I did not.
That's a good segue, Grant, because we have some prize picks winners for the people, right? And if you want to play some prize picks, use the promo code Grinders, GRINDERS, with your first deposit for a 100% deposit bonus, and you'll get $100. There you go. It's well, is this the one that says? Okay, never mind. I thought this was the old promo I was talking about. Never mind. I'm getting my promos confused. Grant, take over. Give the people some prize picks winners.
Kershaw over 6.5 strikeouts. He's been good since he's come back. Yes, the pitch count is a little bit of a worry, but that really doesn't matter too much. I mean, 6.5 is too low of a number over on most gambling websites. You see that at +1 or -125 on the over, -140 at some places on the over. So it's a good, nice spot to get a little bit of value there. Going the over on it, going up against a Brewers team. And then that really doesn't have much to play for. And then Mr. Sandra Alcantara, he is pretty good. Over 5.5 strikeouts there.
Well,
He
that's a
draws
good
matchup
bet. I like
versus Phillies. Like, that lineup is not great right now. They're not throwing in their A bats. It's pretty much Harper going for the MVP, and then a bunch of nonsense, as our good friend Dave Potts would say.
Yeah, that's a good point you mentioned. Actually, that's probably why he's playing, right? Just to pad those stats. I assume he wasn't going to play today, but you're right. Like, he's still in contention for the MVP, and that's a one consolation.
3 more games left.
Yeah, he's probably going to play all 3 and pad those stats.
Yeah,
that's a good point. Every once in a while, Grant, you sneak one in there. That was a good point.
Every once in a while, you mean every single time we are on a pod together, and then 30 times during that pod, most likely.
Naps in there instead of Real Muto. Jankowski cracked the lineup. And look, the Marlins have shown no signs of slowing down Alcantara, and obviously they're going nowhere. And he did reach his 200 innings like he wanted to reach. But I assume, for the 7,000 people that show up, they're going to let him go 6 innings.
The real problem is he's going up against 7 lefties.
That's not a real problem, though. He's been better against.
It is when they still don't strike out a huge clip going up against righties. He has a 20% K rate going up against lefties compared to 27.2% going up against righties. His numbers are drastically better going up against righties. More ground balls, less line drives, less fly balls, less hard contact, less walks, more strikeouts. Like, his numbers are a lot better going up against righties than they are going up against lefties. I mean, you look at his pitch mix here, and he's got a few different pitches that he ends up using. Obviously, fastball and sinker guy, slider, but his slider is much better than his changeup is. So he's going to struggle a little bit more going up against lefties. He does have a curve that occasionally throws in there, but that's got beaten up pretty heavily. So I'm kind of waiting on ownership to update again. What do we currently have Alcantara at?
By the way, this is great. Devin chiming into the chat, throwing some shade your way. I guess Eric was talking about he can name a bunch of things he'd rather do instead of go to a Kenny Chesney concert. Name a dozen things. I would not take Devin for a Kenny Chesney guy. That seems like the chalk.
I mean, I can name a dozen things, and I like Kenny Chesney.
On air, or is it they're not appropriate for air? I don't know. If probably not. Maybe that's down to 6.
Bubble bath, but that's like number 1 on my list. Making sweet love. I think that was applicable. I was not going to get YouTube angry at us.
Sure.
A nap's like top of my list anyways.
You'd rather take a nap than go to a concert? You have like somebody you like?
I love naps.
I like naps too, but I mean, if there's a band playing in my backyard,
then I'll nap through the first half. I'll nap through the opener.
All right, fair enough.
Man, I'm sleepy.
Give me a summary here as far as the pitchers.
Pitcher, you can really do whatever you want. Ranger Suarez probably projects out as one of the better plays on the slate going up against Miami and a bad team with a lot of strikeouts. Kershaw or Alcantara, both of them are probably the top 2 spend ups. I'm looking at ownership right now, and with this lineup, I'd probably slight lean towards Kershaw, but you can really go either of them. Erod going up against Washington really doesn't strike out a lot, walks at a pretty heavy clip. You're fine using him, but his ownership is projected at 23%. I think you're better off going elsewhere. I kind of like some of the cheaper guys on the slate that I think you can go with. Suarez and John Gray are both going to come in at low single-digit ownership. It's mostly to get bats in here. If you can pay up for 2 guys and you like your bats, go ahead and do that. But I am kind of on the train where I'm just going to go a little bit off the board. Lance Lynn, we worry a little bit about is what his pitch count could be. I know he went over 100, but they really have nothing to play off for, and the playoffs are coming in soon. So you can use him if you want. You can spend up on him if you want. I am fully exiting him out of my player pool.
I just Googled Kenny Chesney, like most popular songs, and I wasn't sure if I knew a Kenny Chesney song or not, but I am aware of She Thinks My Tractor's Sexy. Like,
She thinks my tractor's sexy.
I think it's the only one I know. I'm fairly certain, but maybe if I hear it. How forever feels. There goes my life. You have me from hello.
You probably know when the sun goes down.
Yeah. Oh, I know there's a Garth Brooks one that sounds kind of sort of with something, but well, that's a whole other thing. Never mind. All right. Give me your favorite stack. So we're looking at. It's pretty clear, right? I think it's pretty clear. Toronto's got the biggest high total on the board. Toronto.
Yep.
They're fully incentivized. They're facing Tom Eshelman and like his 85-mile-an-hour fastball, like for real. That's what he throws more. I think
He's
that's
just
what he
on
makes.
batting practice.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, he has guile and he has savvy. All the adjectives he used for the guys that don't throw fastballs, like like a poor man Zach Greinke, I suppose. And Toronto doesn't, they're a contact heavy team too, so they're going to hit the ball a good bit. I don't know if it's going to the fence. I don't know where it's going.
It's going to get hit hard. It's just whether it's going to get hit hard at a guy.
Yeah, it's all about the BABIP here against Tom Eshelman. Again, 7 total, just short of a 7 total. That's a monster number. Toronto fully incentivized, although they probably are kind of demoralized to some degree because they lost yesterday, and their playoff chances have significantly dwindled, unfortunately. I was rooting for Toronto. I like this team. They're a fun team. Is that your number one stack on the board? And if it is, what are you doing with them?
I'm playing them.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I mean, Springer, Semien, Vlad, Bichette, they have it near a 7 implied team total. They're playing for something. They're going to lay it on thick. Like, I'm playing them. They're not going to come in nearly high as ownership as they probably should, because guess what? Pitching is good at the top. That's what people are going to do. They are going to play Toronto, but probably not nearly as high. Like, this is a Coors total. This is an incredible total. Play the Blue Jays bats. You can play them with any number of different teams, but you probably got to pay down at pitching, which is what I'm doing. All in on Suarez, right?
No. Angels Suarez? No.
Angels Suarez, going all in on him. I'm going to create all my lineups right now, locking in Suarez.
Terrible idea. I'm looking at our consensus value rankings. No surprise, Toronto is the number 1 team on the board. Then Boston. Have you heard this? Boston is one of the top stacks this week. They've let us down all week long. Now they jumped in the National League. Still a good ballpark to hit in. They lost their DH. JD Martinez is playing the field, which is interesting. And there's opportunities for double swaps and guys getting pinch hit. Like Vasquez, if there's a spot, he's gonna get hooked for like an actual hitter. Well, I shouldn't say an actual hitter, but like somebody like a Travis Shaw can come in there. Just be aware that these things will happen. Toronto as well too, like desperate teams. In a spot if they need a base hit, Danny Jansen might come out for one of their hitters that's lurking in the bench right now, or even Santiago Espinal. Cavan Biggio is back in our lives, batting 9th. One of the disappointing season for him, obviously. Toronto, Boston, the Dodgers just keep walloping homers. The White Sox, Minnesota, KC, Colorado. What are your thoughts on the next batch of teams there? Doesn't sound like you're really in on Boston. They're still locked in for 9 in a good ballpark. Yes, there's no DH. Not facing Baltimore's pitchers, but they're facing a career minor leaguer in Josh Rogers. He's been good so far in the majors, but you can argue he's been a little bit lucky as well. Also not missing a ton of bats necessarily. Who else do you have that's worth featuring before we play the stack game, before we turn questions over the chat? Yeah, chat. I didn't prompt them, but I assume they know by now it's the last show of the season. Fire off some questions in chat, whatever we haven't talked about, whatever you want us to elaborate on or talk about some more. Let us know as far as if it's for cash, if it's for tournaments, DraftKings, Yahoo, FanDuel, all that good stuff. More details, the better. Ask Kenny Chesney related questions for Grant. I'm sure I'll be happy to field those. Thoughts here as far as some other stacks before we bring Devin on?
I mean, there's not a ton that I really like on this slate. I'm probably going to end up with just a few. I mean, Toronto's absolutely the top, but after that, I think that Atlanta becomes a very interesting one, specifically the lefties in this lineup. Jock Jams, Adriana, Rosario, Albies, all of them are very good plays here. Like
they're very cheap.
Yeah, they're very cheap. They're going up against a guy that has been absolutely crushed, just hammered by lefties. So, yeah, play them.
Slipping Tyler McGill.
Yeah, McGill is not great versus lefties. He doesn't have an out pitch versus lefties. I think the White Sox are kind of interesting. They're really not playing for anything, but they are going up against Peralta, who's a very bad pitcher. I think Gant and Heasley are just terrible. So I'm playing that entire game. I really like the Twin side of it specifically. Price tags really aren't too constrictive here. Donaldson's obviously been pretty good so far this season. Buxton has been crushing it recently. Both of them are not too high at price. Kepler you can throw in. Sano you can throw in. He's really not Like they get a good matchup, and then over on the other side, Salvador Perez has been crushing the ball all season long. Likely to take one out of the ballpark. I will absolutely end up playing him.
Who's batting seventh for the Cubs today?
Trent Jabroni.
Yes, I was thinking the same. I read it the same way. I got cheese. It's got to be smiling somewhere. Jabroni. Do you know what the origin of the word jabroni? You want to know it? I'm sure the people out there are very interested.
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
No, it was on that show.
Yeah, they used it. It was comical.
So The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, he was once the guy, the big action star. He was once a wrestler in the WWE, right?
What?
Yeah. I know. Are you sitting down? And they do these things called promos. And they talk smack, they talk trash, that kind of thing. And there's an industry term for wrestlers that always lose. Like they're out there just kind of make everybody else look good, and they always lose. Oh, but we should continue. The matches are fixed. Again, I know you're sitting down. They intentionally lose, and they're called. You know what the term is? They're called jobbers.
I am disheartened.
The word
really think that
jabroni.
they're not real.
Yeah, well, I mean, the injuries are real. They get hurt for real, but like, yeah, it's kind of scripted, predetermined.
I am
but
crushed.
Yeah, the Rock took the word jobber and turned it into a jabroni. He was like calling somebody basically. It's a fun way of calling somebody a jobber, which is an insult because you always lose. There you go. You're welcome for that, chat. That history lesson on the origin story of jabroni. I don't even know if Trent Giambroni is good. I was just gonna say Dakota Hudson's not good, and that ballpark's not great for hitting baseballs. But like this Cub team does have like homer potential. Like they're not great, but they'll hit homers. Just kind of sort of something interesting. Keep your eye on that.
Dean, do you think my tractor's sexy?
I have not seen your tractor. I don't know if that's a euphemism or not, but I'm sure it's delightful.
I was going to
Building
say,
my lineups here.
Maybe keep the tractor talk off of the YouTube ones. Nobody wants to see your tractor on YouTube.
Devin just chimes in.
You could tell it's the last MLB regular season show.
Yeah, because I'm going all in on Suarez.
No, don't, Devin. This is like last day of school. And like a sub,
so
right?
much
going on here?
Yeah, we've just watched Shrek and Finding Nemo like over and over again. Just movies that are way outdated for where
year?
I'm saying like they always showed us like movies that were from a long time ago, but
yeah, but not in high school. You're not watching Shrek and Nemo in high school, are you?
Dean, you must be a little detached from high school. In high school,
from reality,
if you were offered any movie in high school to watch instead of class, yeah, you're gonna watch it.
I remember I was teaching one time. I was a pool sub. I didn't have official classroom.
Hope you're sitting down.
No, like they had an assignment, but nobody was doing it, and like whatever. And somebody's like, "Hey, I got this Made in Manhattan movie. Like, they had like a bootleg version of Made in Manhattan. Like, can I play this?" I'm like, "Sure." Because you wonder why I don't teach anymore.
Yeah, that was the last day they saw Professor Shavelson. We got ourselves some snacks here. If you guys want to hop into that,
let's
do it.
Yeah. Maybe we'll save those for another Monday. Let's get to the stacks game for the new viewers on the last day of the season. First number is primary stack ranking. Second number is secondary stack ranking. All right, let's
do it.
Cleveland, Dean.
Yeah, Franmel's not back in the lineup, but he didn't play yesterday, and I thought he was, and we saw there's some bad information out there. I had him as well. I'm just sort of tilting from yesterday, but 2.5. Yeah, I mean, there's no Franmel. It's just Ramirez and a bunch of dudes. Yeah, 2.5.
2-2.
Miami, Grant.
1-1.
Yeah, like in theory, there's supposed to be some leverage here, right? But then you got to play some Marlins.
They are playing the worst Suarez, am I right, team?
No, Ranger Suarez is the best Suarez on this slate.
Just keep dangling that hook in front of him, Grant, to see if he bites.
Call me a hooker?
You're just trying to get us kicked.
That was a reference to olden days when I got called.
Is this The Rock?
I got called a hooker at a Renaissance fair where they were in character, and they told me the story of a hooker, which goes in through your window with a hook and takes your food, because there really wasn't great security back then. So I learned that when I was in 8th grade at the Renaissance fair. There's
a Seinfeld episode based on that, but they use bread instead. It's worth checking out for sure.
You guys can't sit still today.
We're antsy, man.
I think we're talking Miami. Dean, did you rank them?
Yeah, I mean, look, 1, 2.5. I'm not going to fully stack Miami, but there's a little bit of leverage here against Ranger Suarez.
Washington, Dean.
No. I mean, of course, you can always play Juan Soto and have at it. I'll say 1 and a 2.5.
1-1.
Dodgers, Grant.
4-4.
Yeah, I like the Dodgers again. They're still incentivized, despite the fact their chances aren't very great, to get to tie San Francisco. I will say 4-4 as well.
Giants.
3-4.
Yeah, is this confirmed that it's Pedro Avila? Is that the official pitcher, or it's a bullpen game? Like, he was kind of sort of stretched out in the minors for what it's worth, but and he hasn't pitched the majors since 2019, what I saw. Yeah, I'll say a 4-4 as well. They're interesting. We don't know what the lineup is, but it'll be interesting.
All right, we're on the White Sox now, Dean.
Yeah, they're one of the better teams today, despite the fact they have no incentive, but they're rolling out most of their regulars. I will say 3.5 and a 4.
4-4.
So does no incentive mean if the guy's going up to bat and it's just about to make contact, he just goes limp and lets go? He's just like, I don't, forget
Well,
it.
that's the thing. It's like you're in the box. You might as well swing and you might as well try. It's that's the point. I don't know really. Yeah, what are you supposed to do? It's always this weird sort of. And they've been like this for a while.
Allegedly, Roger Clemens used to take Viagra before every game.
The secret to success.
Yeah, well, it opens.
He's like a lot of things, by the way. There's a lot of allegations on Clemens as far as things he's taken.
True that, but Viagra, I mean, it opens up the blood vessels.
Well, very specific ones, right? It's my understanding.
I mean, if you've actually looked into the enzyme that created male enhancement drugs,
I'm gonna have to change.
Read the book 10 Drugs. It goes over the entire history.
They were trying to cure something else, and they just kind of fell into Viagra.
I'm gonna have to put some new social media.
No,
tags
I don't think
on
that
this.
was it.
Yeah, that's it was a side effect for something else they're trying to figure out. Go ahead, Devin.
And they just accidentally happened to. Never mind. Going on to Toronto.
Here, this will fix your pain. Well, you're focusing on something else now, aren't you?
The old major pain technique. Dean, Toronto.
Shout out David Wayans. Yeah, I mean, look, Toronto is the best stack on the slate. It does kind of fall off a little bit in the back end for what it's worth, but yeah, I'm going to play some Toronto. I'm embracing. Let's pummel some Tom Eshelman. Of course, be aware of the ownership there. I will say 5-5 though. Like, how could it not?
5-5.
Colorado, Grant.
2-2.
Yeah, Humberto Castellanos is not very good. Colorado's also not very good. Sure, 2-2. That's fine.
Chef's kiss on that pronunciation, Dean. Just perfect. Yeah.
I believe it's pronounced Chief.
Oh boy. San Diego, Dean.
San Diego. Yeah, just kind of a dead team, man. They're terrible. I'm gonna say 2.5. Disco's fine. We didn't really talk about him, but they're not really fully extending him. He should be okay, but just sort of a thought in Disco Fani on the other side, but I'm not really on San Diego.
No. 0.
Minnesota, Grant.
4-5.
Yeah, it's a bad ballpark, but you're locked in for 9. Buxton is still just pummeling baseballs. He didn't do it when he was 2K on DK, but now all of a sudden he's priced back up. Yeah, I like Minnesota a good bit too. Cautiously optimistic about them tonight. 3.5 and 4.
Michael in chat says, thank you, Devin. Like when people have been saying Boston has been playing for something, you can't try for more than 100%. Once you're in contention, that's when you're legally able to engage that extra 10% to get to 110. That's how you win.
Did you hear David Letterman at the Brooklyn Nets? What is it, press conference? Whatever it was their first.
Yeah, what percentage are you going to give this year? Would you say 90? Would you say it's 100? 110%? I'd say about 110%. Durant doesn't know numbers.
Good job, Grant. I'm surprised you heard that. Well done. You're on top of things.
Dean Casey.
It's almost as if I'm on Twitter.
Right.
Well, I don't know. You're listening to Kenny Chesney. You're taking bubble baths. I don't know what else you're up to these days.
You can listen to a podcast, or you can scroll through Twitter in a bubble bath. It's called waterproof phone. If you have a,
I was gonna say, keep that thing handled. Don't want to drop it in the bath. Dean Casey.
Yeah, John Gant is not good. I like Casey a little bit. 2.5, 3. Sal Perez, he's gonna hit another homer. Like, that's happening. He's gonna keep hitting these home runs.
What
and have more than 50 a season.
What is the correlation between St. Louis and Sal Perez? Because they're all doing pretty well, right?
I don't know. Well, I'll tell you, John Gant used to play for St. Louis, and he was traded for John Lester. And wait, is that who it was? I think it was John Gant, right? Or is that a different trade? Or was he let go? He used to pitch for St. Louis, and now he's facing Sal Perez. There's some sort of association.
I was going to say, we need to keep pulling on this thread. Grant,
if you pull the sweater, eventually the whole thing will unravel.
Grant, you are delirious today.
It's a Zoolander reference.
I thought you were making a Weezer reference.
I thought he was just saying some sort of philosophical statement.
And Zoolander, absolutely fantastic.
Grant, did you
the
rank
sweater
Casey?
song by Weezer? Go ahead, Devin.
Casey is a 4-4.
Bless you for your self-control, Dean. Mets, Grant.
Mets 4-3. I mean, they're not going to be terribly highly owned. They've got some decent bats.
Mm-hmm. Dean, Mets.
Yeah, I kind of agree, and it's a huge ballpark jump for them too. That ballpark they play in is terrible, and Atlanta's pretty positive. Yeah. That is the appropriate reaction for sure. Grant was traded for Hap, by the way. I just googled that. That's a very important.
I was traded for Hap.
No, John Grant. Nobody's trading for you.
Pitcher.
That's a
you were DFA'd.
Gant, not Grant.
What?
Oh,
where's the R?
Dean's
like
just
the Mets,
intentionally
actually.
trying to confuse you.
I think the Mets are 3.5 and a 4. I like the Mets today.
Yeah.
I wish what's his name was playing though. No Conforto, unfortunately.
I haven't had a chance to look through a lot, but a 5-man Mets, 3-man White Sox stack looks pretty juicy.
Are the White Sox going to try though, Devin?
This is the ultimate question.
Are they going to give it 110%?
Not the penultimate question, just the ultimate question.
The extra 10% is Viagra.
Dean, Arizona.
I think they're interesting as like, a mini stack. So I'll say a 2 and a 3.
2-1.
Angels.
What's the other way on that?
1-1.
Yeah, the Angels are terrible. 1 and 2. You can always play Ohtani.
Give me that mush, Dean. Give me that mush.
You love the
mush is
Angels.
so
I can't stop. Yeah, I mean it's the last day, right?
Yeah, I'm really pissed that you said bet the Mariners today because I mean it's why I have 100% Suarez.
You willed an awesome
Dodger
power.
lineup is out, by
Dean.
the way. Dodgers lineup is Betts, Seager, Turner, Muncy, Pollock, Taylor, and Barnes. Oh, that's no Will Smith. That's kind of a bummer. Okay.
Now, when are we going to get the second Dodgers lineup?
Oh yeah.
I think there was some confusion there. Cubs, Dean.
Cubs 0-0.
Nah, they're gonna hit a homer or two today. So I'll say 2 and 3.
Who's gonna hit a homer?
Frank Schwindel. And the Jabroni.
I was going to say, it must be the Jabroni, right?
Mr. Jabroni.
Chat apparently corrected me and like, yes, Iron Cheek said Jabroni too, but whatever. That origin story is more fun for The Rock. I'm not sure which one's officially true.
Chat goes,
well,
true. Actually.
They were very upset at me though. My apologies. Thumbs down. You don't know the Iron Cheek. I'm aware of the Iron Cheek.
Last
For now,
stack.
chef.
Baltimore.
What was that, Devin?
Baltimore, last stack.
Let Grant take it because he likes Baltimore more than I do.
Actually, I'm going 5-3.
All right, Dean, give Grant a second to take a sip of coffee or something. Do us a cash breakdown real quick.
I took coffee.
Tyler Nevin, by the way, is Phil Nevin's son. They're all the olds out there. Remember Phil Nevin for the Padres? Anybody?
Remember Neville from Harry Potter?
I've never seen Harry Potter.
Oh my God, Dean, we don't have time for that.
You are a hot mess of a human being.
Why should I say Harry Potter? I don't understand.
Oh my God, Dean.
What am I, 12? If it was the last day of school and I was in 3rd grade, maybe I'd be excited to see Harry Potter. But otherwise, like, come on.
Dean,
if I was in high school,
I've never been so disappointed in a person.
I might be with Grant here, Dean. There's a lot to unpack there. Do a DK cash breakdown.
I've never seen a Harry Potter. I've never seen a Lord of the Rings. I've not seen any of the Star Wars reboots or whatever.
My God, this isn't a confessional, Dean. We don't have time to go through all this. Grant just left. He can't deal with it.
Kenny Chesney concert, I think, in see Harry Potter.
Oh my God, I'm taking it to credits.
So pitcher, I don't want to play Lynn. The Optimals are saying play Lynn. I'm trying to get Alcantara and Kershaw and Suarez, like 2 of those 3. Let's see, Suarez catcher. I'd love to get to Sal Perez. He's just kind of expensive, so I don't know if that's going to happen. Jeffers is an interesting punt. What? What did I say? What did I do?
You've never seen it.
Why does it make you? Why does it bother you? It doesn't affect your. You watched it just to say, but you
this is topic number 1 this Monday. All right. After kickoff, we're jumping right into what is wrong with Dean.
Love Vlad in tournaments, but you probably can't get there in cash. I like Pete Alonso a good bit. He's got a really nice price. Dahlbeck as well is still pretty cheap if you like that Boston side. Second base is kind of meh. Not really sure what to do with it. If you want to, I would say fill out at last. Baez, Merrifield, Arise is pretty cheap. Semien I love, probably only more of a tournament guy because of salary cap reasons. Josh Donaldson is still really cheap. Josh Rojas is cheap and leading off. Probably more useful on FanDuel where he's like 2-2 or 2-3. You can play him on DK, just not as much of a salary saver. As far as shortstop, Fernando Tatis is like the cheapest we've seen in a long time, $5K. I know they're kind of sputtering to the finish line, but that's just too cheap for his talent. I think that's your cash game shortstop. And the outfield, no Conforto, unfortunately. Cole Calhoun is one of the cheapies you can work with. I love George Springer as a big spend. Willie Calhoun, all the Calhouns are really, really cheap. They can kind of make stuff work. If you have salary, JD Martinez, Kiki Hernandez, and Byron Buxton. He's going to bang one out as well. Devin, go ahead.
All right. Got a Byron Buxton home run call in there real quick.
It's happening.
Umps, did we touch on that? We'll touch on them one more time here. I'll put them up on the screen for Tony in chat.
All right. We'll throw them up on the screen. We'll just focus on the extremes real quick. Oh, hey, Devin, this is time's getting away from us. We have to step aside really, really soon.
Yeah.
And talk about Crunch Time. Who's on Crunch Time today?
It's actually a run back at the same show as yesterday. So Tuttle with Cheese and one chief meteorologist, Kevin Roth.
I know that guy.
Extreme hitters umpire for McClanahan, Manaya, Cortez, and Framber Valdez. Bill Miller, the best pitchers umpire in the game, is behind the home plate for Yanoa and McGill. Kind of, sort of, somewhat interesting for McGill.
That does make McGill more interesting.
If you believe, like, he's been terrible, but like that lineup's not good either. And also an extreme pitchers umpire for Rogers and Erod. So Erod is an extreme pitchers umpire too. Grant, give us a couple homers. As we're thinking of a couple, do want to say, for real, thanks for sticking with us, especially in this show. You guys stuck around on this show the entire season, game 160. We do appreciate that. Of course, we're doing football content Monday, Thursday, Sunday, showdown stuff. Sunday, we're doing, on air about 2.5 hours up the lock. It's good times for sure. Maybe it's more than 2.5 hours. Do hit the like button, subscribe on your way out. If you guys are pre-members, stay tuned for Crunch Time on Rotogrinders.com. Grant, give me some homers.
Mountcastle, Hayes, Severino.
We want to thank Devin for producing and putting up with our nonsense as well, too.
I am delightful. Devin. I appreciate him for putting up with your nonsense.
Well, guess what? We're doing a show on Sunday, so you get no reprieve. You get about a day and a half off, and then we're talking.
No,
Sunday,
I have to work every single day during the playoffs, and
Well, Grant, we can do this, the world's smallest violin for you off screen. We got to step aside and get out of here. God forbid you have to talk baseball for a couple days.
The last you suck, Dean.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't suck working 90-hour weeks.
All right, wrap it up.
Working is in air quotes. That's Grant. That's Devin. That was baseball. That was Dean. Sincere thank you.
Air quotes?
We're out of here. Holler.